All right, guys, welcome back to the channel. As you can see, we have a very special guest, Francesco from Superfluid. And Superfluid is a very special protocol. If you are a Web3 developer, you should absolutely watch this video because it's all about streaming money, streaming millicents each second. Francesco, big welcome to the show. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, man. It's great to be on this show. As I told you, I've been a fan for a long time, so it's amazing.
And talk a bit about what Superfluid is and how you found the idea.
Sure. So Superfluid is an asset streaming protocol. It's a decentralized finance protocol. It lives on the Ethereum ecosystem. And basically what it allows you to do is stream any ERC20 token over time. And it does this in a way that maybe we can go a bit more deeper into later. But basically, we have our own token standard, which is like an extended ERC20 token. We came up with the idea when we realized that not many people were using crypto for payments, right? Like if you look at the history of Bitcoin, obviously it was all about payments at the beginning. Then it became digital gold. But then with Ethereum, right, we had stable coins. It seemed like we had everything in place to actually do payments. But we realized that there was no way to do recurring payments. Yes. There's literally no way to do this, right? And this is mostly because we don't want to trust an intermediary, right? If you look at traditional recurring payments, you have your credit cards, you have your bank recurring payments, but those are all through an intermediary, right? So we started thinking, how can we do this in Web3 without that intermediary, but at the same time, providing a similar experience, right? An experience with the same kind of qualities of, good UX, right? You don't want to basically go and do the payment yourself every month. So
sorry, but it's also better than the same because you guys are doing streaming not monthly or yearly. It's every millisecond. It's basically all the time that you stream. So it's an important thing to mention that it's each and every second you can stream funds.
Exactly. Well, what I was going to say is I think the best innovations in Web3 are not the ones that are exactly the same as kind of Web2 or traditional finance, right? The best things are things that are somehow unique to Web3 that you couldn't do in traditional finance. And that's why when we figured out how to do Superfluid, we were really excited because it has all the good UX that you get in traditional finance. But on top of that, it's even better because payments are streamed, right? Which means they're transferred every second. And all of this is done with no transactions. So as a user, you have your initial moment when you open a stream, right? And then that stream will keep going on literally forever with no transactions, no gas costs, and no interactions, right? Which means the user doesn't have to go back to the page and sign another transaction. They sign once, and that's it. That's it forever, right? And this is the same as when you sign up with a credit card. You give them the number, and then you're done. You don't have to go and do it again. So that was kind of the experience we wanted to emulate. But as you said, even better because we can do it with by the second payments.
And so for people that know ERC20 standard and they know how the balance is represented like a mapping, how did you guys innovate on top of that to enable this money streaming without transactions?
Yeah, so basically in our extension of the ERC20 token, the balance of function is not simply reading from the mapping anymore. Instead, what it does is it checks the user's state, right? So what is the user doing? Do they have any open streams? Do they have any incoming streams? Do they have outgoing streams? Do they have other kinds of agreements? It takes all this information, throws it into basically a function, and then gives you your real-time balance, which is calculated based on the timestamp. And because the timestamp basically changes every block automatically, right? It's like a global variable that the blockchain updates for us. Everybody's balance is also updated for us by the blockchain with no extra gas, right? So we're using this kind of trick, right? But effectively what it does is it settles everybody's balance every block, and it moves the money. It moves the money for us. Some people think that this isn't real settlement. It is. The sender can't access the money anymore, and the receiver can. So the money is effectively settled every block, and that's one of the unique properties of the blockchain.
And basically, to put another way, instead of having a mapping where you read the balance, you have a formula for calculating the balance. And in that formula, you have the different agreements that the user is in. So for example, maybe they are receiving payments each and every second, and you can calculate how much they have received up until this second based on the block number, or maybe they're sending away payments to someone, or maybe they have some other agreements that you will add in the future, maybe other types of financial operations. So it's I like this basically extendability of ERC20, which can be extended even with other types of contracts or financial transactions, which we can't even think about right now. And how far have you guys come with this idea, and how can devs, most importantly, use it today?
Yeah, so I'd say we're at the point where we are finalizing a formal definition of the protocol. So it's very exciting. We're rewriting a spec with all the stuff we've learned. So we're very excited about kind of the near future of the protocol. But obviously the protocol is live. It's been live for about a year now on Polygon and Gnosis chain. So you can go and use it out there. Now, as a developer, there's a lot of different ways you can use it. The simplest way is just building visualizations, right? So you can take our subgraph, query the data, go for it. In the future, probably Moralis as well will be able to index all that data, but not just yet. But anyway, you can just build a visualization completely in the front end. Second thing you can do is integrate what we call our SDK core, which is a JavaScript, TypeScript SDK, but you can use it in the front end. And that allows you to open streams, close streams, edit streams, kind of see, start doing operations, right? Write operations. And that's really all you need to build even kind of, very useful applications. Like, you can have a checkout, you can have donation buttons, you can have, a payroll page that purely works in JavaScript and uses money streams, right? So there's a lot of
or you watch a video, you pay for each second, you listen to a song, you pay. It's basically everything that Lightning Network wanted to be, but never became. and you guys are doing this on ETH with any ERC20, with any asset. You can even do it. I mean, you can do it with Ethereum also because it's wrapped ETH. So basically, all assets in the Ethereum ecosystem you can now stream, and it's also available as a protocol, meaning that anyone can use it. And most importantly, also build services on top, because I know we spoke last time that you said that there are projects building already like checkouts, and they're doing something like Stripe. Talk more about this ecosystem, and also explain this liquidity ecosystem you have in this, streams, which is also very important aspect.
Of course. So as I said, there's people building all sorts of things in our ecosystem. We're very excited about it because ultimately what we're trying to do is in a way upgrade money, right? Money from static to liquid, right? We want to allow people to move their money in streams, but that's only useful if there's things you can do with it, right? If it's a closed ecosystem where you go to our page and you do one thing, it's not interesting. So what we're trying to do is build an ecosystem of different applications. So there's different people building, for example, subscription checkouts, donations. There's people building the payroll use case where you can, have companies basically pay their employees every second. So there's all sorts of different things. But then there's also applications. So that's where I was going next. Like if you're a Solidity developer and you want to go beyond the JavaScript, there's a lot of room to build what we call real-time finance applications. So these are smart contracts, they're DeFi products that instead of working with transfers, work with streams, which means they can receive payments in the future, they can make payments in the future, and you can build basically all sorts of different kinds of applications that have a real-time component to them. So for example, we have an app called Ricochet. It's ricochet.exchange, which is basically like a real-time DEX where you can buy, for example, you can stream USDC and buy Bitcoin every second, right? Now, that's useful in itself if you want a DCA, but it's even more useful if you're receiving your salary in a stream, because then as you receive that salary, you can take that stream and basically open another stream to the DCA market, and then your salary is DCAing automatically for you into Bitcoin or Ethereum or other tokens that you want, without needing to do any transactions beyond the first stream opening, right? So, if you're working in Web3, if you're working for a DAO, get them to stream you your salary, because that means you'll be able to DCA into Bitcoin completely automatically with no transactions, and in a very, very kind of seamless way, right? So we're very excited about people building in our ecosystem. We help developers a lot. So we have a program that we will announce soon, where we basically drive you through the process, right, from initial kind of proof of concept up to fundraising and getting ready for a public launch. So we've already accelerated a few projects, and we'd be very excited to accelerate more people in the Moralis community.
Perfect. And yeah, just to show this exchange to show. So basically, it's an exchange where you can swap. If two people are streaming and they want to swap the same pair, but they're streaming from different wallets, then this can happen basically automatically on the Superfluid level. But then if you're streaming some funds and no one else streams, the thing you want to buy with your streaming funds, then this will go to the liquidity on layer 1 on Dexes, to Uniswap, SushiSwap, and it will trade there, right, to get the liquidity up in the Superfluid stream level, basically, right?
Yes, exactly, and it works really well. I mean, it's amazing the kind of UX you can build, right? Like if you think of it, right, DCA, right, that's dollar cost averaging. Technically, you have to click that button a million times, right? With Ricochet, you click it once and it does everything for you. Like, it's really, really good UX, and it's non-custodial. So the Ricochet smart contracts at any point in time only has I think 15 minutes of liquidity, which is I don't know, $1,000, right? That's their TVL, which means there's nothing to hack. There's nothing to hack there. It's amazing if you think about it. All the funds are always in your account as the user, so it's very hard to lose money. You can't get rugged. It's a pretty good financial product, and it's it's very exciting for us because it's enabled by some of the unique characteristics of Superfluid, right? So they're able to effectively keep moving funds to their users, right, as they get funds continuously from their users, because of how our system works, right? Normal DeFi systems simply can't do that because moving funds is very expensive and very complicated, and you need a lot of transactions, and it doesn't scale. But by building these extra rules into the token, we are able to scale money movements on chain, and that's that's effectively what Ricochet is doing, because every second they get paid, and every 10 minutes they pay everyone back. So it's really, really efficient.
Yeah, and this should be an ERC standard, because why shouldn't it be a standard where you can add more conditions to the token balance calculation? That it's not just so to speak, dumb lookup in the balance, which takes transaction fee to change, but it's a formula, and you can have different parameters basically going through the different agreements like you explained. And this should be a standard in my view, but it's not really a standard now. But it's easy to take a normal ERC20 and then wrap it into an how do you call it, super token? Do you have an ERC proposal for this? Because you should, right?
No, we don't, because we think it's still a bit early days, to be honest. At the moment, our implementation is the implementation. I don't know when it will be the right time to enable more interoperability, but realistically, we're building a strong community, and the people who are starting to integrate us have a lot of ideas. So I'm sure we'll reach a point where it's more kind of clear what this should look like. And just to add something on the super tokens, there's actually two kinds of super tokens. If you look there, right, there's the wrapper super token, and that's you have DAI, you want to stream DAI, you need to wrap it into super DAI, or we call it DAI-X. But if you're creating a new token, right, you don't need to create a normal token and then wrap it. You can directly create a super token, and in that case, the users never have to wrap or unwrap. So, for example, if you use Ricochet, they're currently running a liquidity mining program. So just by imagine you start a DCA into Ether, and they will send you back Ricochet tokens, which are super tokens. You don't need to unwrap them. You can go straight to SushiSwap and dump them if you want. That's not what they're for. They're for governance. but you can use them directly. So there's no wrapping unwrapping. There's no normal token and super token. There's just the super token. So it really is a token. It's effectively a token. It's just obviously for compatibility, you need to wrap it with most of the stablecoin.
Yeah. And I mean, theoretically, I could also wrap an NFT, right? And then I stream like Bored Ape. It's like tokenization of NFTs. I mean, why not? They should be.
Somebody built it actually for a hackathon. They called it the super fractionalizer.
All right.
You throw an NFT in, and then it sends you back the super token, and then you can stream it. The problem with fractionalization is always the reconstitution of the NFT.
So, you need to collect everything, right? Not gonna happen.
It's very hard when you're streaming the micro amounts every second. It's very hard to collect 100%.
Right. Exactly.
Be careful with it,
That's true. But yeah, perfect. What else should we discuss? If you guys are interested in starting with this, go to docs.superfluid.finance. And for people to join your community, Francesco, where should they go and how should they start?
So just go to discord.superfluid.finance and you can find kind of a ton of information there. I do want to show maybe, Ivan, if you can open up console.superfluid.finance. There's probably a link there at the bottom of the docs. This is, in my opinion, it's one of the best places to start with Superfluid because it's a great visualization of all the data. So you can see accounts, you can see applications, you can see different kinds of agreements, and it basically shows you all the data. You can change the granularity, you can change, if you want to see it by the second, by the minute, by the hour, because obviously it's a bit hard to read. And this is like literally the whole Superfluid data set, right? And you can explore it. It's like Etherscan for Superfluid.
You see all the streams going bam, 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 bam.
Yes, exactly. And you can search addresses. If you click on one of the addresses, we also support a ton of test nets. So pretty much whatever you want to use, you can use it there. And yeah, you can see basically all the data here. And this is great if you're developing because you're building an app, you deploy it on Kovan or Rinkeby, you want to test it out, and then from here it also is a very good way to learn about the graph. So sorry, if you click on one of the addresses again, you'll there's then a button at the top next to accounts, right? I think it's the second button. Yeah,
subgraph.
Which basically opens up a subgraph explorer. So using this subgraph explorer, you can become a pro at using the graph because basically you can do it all of it without writing any code. You just select what you want. You select your filters. You select your ordering. You select your the amount of data you want, and for each data point, there's docs that show up at the same time. So we're focusing a lot on developer experience and trying to give developers really the best experience possible, because ultimately we're only as useful as the community of developers that we're able to create. So yeah, very excited to see if anyone in the Moralis community wants to build on us. There are a few already actually that I know. They're making really cool stuff at hackathons. But yeah, we're also sponsoring a ton of hackathons, so we'll probably cross paths if that's something your community does.
For sure.
And yeah, we're okay. One other shout out is that we just put out deployment guides for Optimism and Arbitrum. So Superfluid contracts are always community deployed. We don't deploy them ourselves, and this means we started a process of supporting Arbitrum and Optimism. We did a lot of preparation for it, and now we're ready. The only thing that's missing is that somebody has to deploy it. So the deployment guides are somewhere on our blog. I think you can find them there. They're on our GitHub as well. And it's just basically a few steps that you can follow, and you would be able to basically do the actual deployment of the Superfluid framework on layer 2 Ethereum. So, we're very excited about that. I think it's going to be, a cool opportunity for a community member to stand out a bit. And yeah, it'd be cool if anyone in your community does that.
Perfect. Sounds good, Francesco. And guys, check all the links in the description to docs and also a link to Twitter. And ensure to join the Superfluid community if you're interested in this. And Francesco, thanks a lot for being here and contributing to our channel with this great interview.
Yeah, absolutely. Looking forward to seeing everyone around. Discord.superfluid.finance. That's where you can find us. And thanks a lot, Ivan, for your time. And if you're working in Web3, talk to your employer and tell them to stream you your salary. You deserve it. You shouldn't wait a month to get paid. You should get paid every second. So go talk to your manager. Tell him he has to pay you every second using Superfluid.